So those words from Chris Gabehart, a rookie crew chief in the Cup Series, putting it all on his shoulders. That's on me. I mean, that's all you can ask from a leader.
So, listen, he's right. I'm not going to disagree with him. Great analysis of what happened. I think this is the biggest point I have from Chris Gabehart is he needs to learn from this because they won 6 races and they were in Miami because he does live next to the fire was his quote, and he does push everything to the edge. But there has to be a moment in time, much like we pick on race car drivers for being too aggressive and damaging race cars or damaging their chances to win. This, in my mind, was a crew chief, self-admittedly now, but a crew chief who has taken his star player out of the game. Right, his star player was within 2 seconds of winning a championship. Could they have caught Kyle Busch? I don't know. I think the 11 was getting better as the sun was cooling, or the sun was setting, the track was cooling. I thought he could have gone up there and maybe pushed the issue against the 18. Gabehart's decision. I'm okay with adding tape, DJ. It's the process in which they did it, right? You have to add it in which way if it goes wrong, you just don't get the advantage. Not if it goes wrong and ends your chances. I think that's the difference. And my concern is when this guy sets it on right here, I mean, he has one shot at it, right? You're asking this guy to make a really tough decision. I just think well-minded, poorly executed. I wish you could, I'm sure he wishes he could have that one back.
Yeah, a lot going on there. It's kind of at midfield, 4th and a foot to go late in the game. Do you punt and try to keep the other team back, or do you go after it? And I like the idea of being aggressive and going for it. But there's just so much pressure, everything going on. If you could have had an extra man to go out there and do that instead of somebody that's trying to do their normal job and make all of that happen, I think you've got a much better chance of making that call work. But, he was trying to give his driver what he thought he needed to go win the race. And, what the 2 things that they lacked early on, it got better as it got cooler, but they were a little tight. Which that was going to help, and they lacked a little bit of speed on the shorter runs, and that was going to help that too. So, things sometimes just don't work out. I appreciate him being aggressive. His calls during the year won them a lot of races and put them in position a lot.
Yeah, I want the fans to understand that he didn't put that much tape on the grill knowing that was, like, I know I can't run this much tape, so I'm going to put it on the grill anyway. It was a calculation he made trying to cover up a certain amount, ask a lot out of one guy. It was too much to ask out of one guy, right?
So if you look right there, he's trying to cover what you see. It's all on the grill. He's trying to be up there like at the CA of Camry and below, right, and have just a couple inches on it on the grill.
Yeah. So it was just a tough play. It's a tough call to make that part of the game. It wasn't, hey, we're just going to put this on here knowing it's going to overheat. I want to be clear about that. One thing I think is different in this sport I believe it puts crew chiefs in a very difficult situation is that in every other sport, you're controlling your players, right? In this sport, you're trying to control your players and the ball.
Yeah.
In no other sport do they bring their own ball with them. Here we bring the car. And that car has a direct relation to whether or not you can be successful. So drivers are always going to be pushing, crew chiefs are always going to be pushing themselves to build the fastest race car they can. And through that gives drivers an opportunity to win a race. I personally don't think, from what I was watching, I don't think the 11 was fast enough to go chasing down. Now, listen, like Denny Hamlin said, he'd love to have a chance to find out. Yeah. I don't see the evidence when I was looking at lap time that they were better. And I think they were just trying to narrow the gap, and it was a mistake.
And there's no timeouts to call. Yeah, it's not like you can say when you see what's going on there as the clock's running down, the play clock's running down, he couldn't call timeout. Say, hold on, we need to adjust this and get another shot at it. That's not available here.
Yeah, so this is where Jeff and I do disagree, though. I think the 11 was closing in on the 18 speed-wise. Listen, it's a personal opinion. It's a personal approach. I just feel that as a crew chief, you have to know when you've done all you can do. You sometimes, at some point as a QB, you got to throw the ball. Sometimes you even got to take a sack and not take a fumble, right? At some point, you can try too hard. And this is Chris Gabehart. He has made very little, if any, missteps throughout the year. He's not alone. Denny Hamlin wrecked his car at Texas, trying too hard. Like, it's human. What makes sports outstanding is you cannot predict the outcome. I didn't predict this decision by Chris Gabehart. I didn't think he could have a 12-second lead at Phoenix, and he did it. So, you can't pick and choose the parts and pieces. I could tell you one thing. People that are disappointed with the crew chief, Denny Hamlin has a better crew chief today than he had yesterday because of this mistake. I got better every race I ran. I always say if I had Jeff Gordon in the end of my career, I would have won way more races because I knew all the stuff I didn't know then. I think Chris Gabehart, you say he's a rookie crew chief, I think he's going to have more shots at championships and win a lot of races.
Hey, Motorsports fans, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe before you go for all the latest news and highlights across motorsports.